Thanks, Amit. I want to thank Amit for inviting SMART to be part of this groundbreaking and thought-provoking event, and I should say moving event if I'm in transportation. And I'm not from India, obviously, but I spend time here, and so I'm going to share some things that may be relevant to India. I'm going to talk about transportation and what's disruptive about it. And I wonder if there's anyone in the room that can think of anything disruptive about transportation. Just put up your hand if you can. Nobody can think of anything disruptive about transportation? Is my microphone working? Excellent. Okay, do you want to yell it out?
India, transportation disrupts your bones.
Exactly, it disrupts our whole day. But I'm not going to spend time on the negative parts of the disruption. I'm going to focus more. Oh, wait a sec now. I have to figure out how to. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I think we all know about the negative parts. The urbanization, congestion, climate change, rapidly growing seniors population, social inequality that's spurred by transportation, but rather to focus on some of the great disruptive things that are happening. We saw a few of them already, the carpooling, the car sharing, the new technologies, the bus rapid transits, the shared collaborative consumption, electric motorcycles called yo-bikes. So all of these kinds of positive things are happening. And this is kind of exciting. And it may seem like India could be on the receiving end of the transportation solutions, given the traffic out there. But actually, according to Amit Kapoor's recent study, that's not the case. There's a lot of potential for industry cluster development and entrepreneurship development in India. So in other words, transportation is at a tipping point. And what we're seeing also is that around the world, the culture is changing a little bit. This is happening a little bit in the US and the UK and Europe, but it's even beginning to happen in other parts of the world, that the young people, the 18 to 25-year-olds, are actually choosing not to actually own a car or drive a car. So what is this tipping point? I guess if you think about it as monoculture versus multiculture, transportation's evolving in a way that maybe Friedman, whether you like him or not, would say transportation is flat. So in other words, some countries mostly walk, some countries mostly drive. What we're evolving into is something much more diverse. So in other words, it's multi-mode, multi-service, IT-enabled, door-to-door, socially equitable, environmentally sustainable transportation system. So that's a lot of goals to reach, but really what it means is more choices and more connected choices, which means a lot more innovation opportunity and a lot more business opportunity. So it's not then just a public sector responsibility. It says, hey, there's this huge opportunity here. So what you've got then is an industry to supply the future of transportation in an urbanizing world. So what might it look like? Could we have the video, please, and maybe with the sound a little bit down so I can talk over it a bit. This is a video done by Veolia to envision a seamlessly connected multimodal door-to-door system. And you can see how the technologies are really helping that connectivity. And the way I like to think about this is that if you look at every connection point, or if you look at every way that every new component of it, there's a business opportunity there. And there's also an infrastructure to be provided. And there's also policy to be provided. So if you think about that as you look at each different solution here, it might give you some ideas about how transportation is evolving. This was done by a really big company. It wasn't done by a government agency that needs to be funding all of the different transportation options that are not automotive. It's missing a few things in my mind, like bicycles and auto rickshaws and boats and electric skateboards and airplanes that are now, some of them are more sustainable. Thanks, that's good. Thank you. Go back to the PowerPoint. And sorry, I had a PowerPoint, but I'm not that powerful, so. So one of the things that we notice is that a lot of the new innovations are there, but they're not coming together with the user in mind. You get these clumps of folks that are doing great entrepreneurial activities, they're putting great infrastructure in, they're from companies like Ford Motor that's trying to rethink itself, Ashok Leyland, Cisco Systems, or they're doing new designs, but those folks never talk together. And on top of that, you don't only have moving people, but you have moving goods and you have moving less. So there again is much more innovation opportunity around how to make it more sustainable and how to make it fit together to serve the user and the economic needs. In terms of moving less, you can have telework, teleshopping, telebusiness, and you can also have local production and distribution and better land use to reduce or replace trips. So this is a gigantic context for innovation, which brings in a whole wider range of sectors. So it's not just automotive, just transit, just cycle. It's a whole range of IT, real estate, tourism, logistics, and an industry cluster that's coming onto the scene now and burgeoning. So what you have in terms of economic impact is not only local competitiveness when you focus on your own regional transportation, but you also have opportunities for local entrepreneurs and for export of the kinds of solutions you come up with. So all of the jugaad that we just heard about could be applied not only locally to transportation, but globally, and the jobs that go with that. At SMART, at the University of Michigan, we have a prize for local entrepreneurs in sustainable transportation. And the range of ideas and technologies is vast. And we're also developing a platform to network those entrepreneurs and innovators around the world. So we're developing a database of sustainable transportation businesses. So what does this mean for India? I apologize, I'm not very good with this clicker. So what about India? I guess one of the first reports or studies on the emerging new mobility industry was in 2002. And it first looked at the fact that there is a cluster evolving around the future, around urbanized transportation. And then in 2012, at the University of Michigan, we did a check-in and an update on that. And we found a number of different things that applied generally and globally. So those things are that new mobility is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And the game changers seem to be information technology, collaborative consumption, many of the things you've heard about today, social networks, big data, new services like car share, bike share, carpool, auto rickshaw share, and mobility management, how you bring it all together. Also, it's about a whole system and not a silver bullet approach, which means public-private innovation. And that's not public-private partnership. It's something that's before public-private partnership. So in other words, all the different sectors need to come together in the way that was more like Miles Davis. So how do we come together and say, what are the goals that we're trying to meet together with NGOs, big business, small entrepreneurs, and academics, and government, and create together the kinds of connected solutions we need. Now the challenges are many, but basically there's a lot of knowledge that's missing in data. And there's a lot of fragmentation between the different parts of knowledge and fragmentation of the transportation systems themselves. There are also skills gaps. I mean, we need to know how to develop these systems. And we need to develop new business models and new policies that would provide enabling atmospheres and architectures as opposed to setting down rule after rule. As the technologies evolve faster than we can make policies, we don't then have a framework in which to do it. So we have to work more in terms of frameworks as opposed to the traditional policy setting. And that might change the whole face of how the public sector and the private sector work together on things like transportation from a systems approach. So needs and opportunities, we need platforms, we need better infrastructure, we need better policy, we need new business models. So here in India, the great news, according to our own Dr. Amit Kapoor, the future of the cluster is very exciting for India. There's a major innovation and global opportunity, and combined with the opportunity to meet the local needs. So in other words, while demonstrating here, those innovations can be spread elsewhere and exported. Again, in India, technology is driving change, and there are huge in India leapfrog opportunities, both for mobile technologies and new service orientation in particular. And an exciting part is that the opportunity is across the base, middle, and top of the pyramid. So in other words, the market is not just towards those who can afford cars, and it's not just for those people who need help walking or taking transit. And also the opportunities are ripe for manufacturing to transform. So in other words, are car companies, or are they transportation companies? Can they provide a wider range? Can they fit into a wider industry cluster in which all the different industries come together to develop the future of transportation? So I'm going to end off with a quote from Amit Kapoor. India's been at the forefront of technology development and it's been able to keep down the costs and deliver superior performance to customers. Right now, urban mobility is severely hampered. We know that. Investments in transportation technology will hold the key for a new urban transportation cluster here in India. Sustainable technology for transportation could show the way for other countries. If India focuses only on fossil fuel technologies, the movement away from these would have significant barriers, which would be difficult to break. And finally, the agglomeration factors for a cluster arise primarily from knowledge spillovers and enhanced productivity and for faster innovation cycles that help the region grow and prosper. The primary focus is to enhance design and innovation capacity to achieve international competitiveness. I'll end there, and I'll say that anyone who's interested in talking about or collaborating on new mobility-related jugaad, new mobility-related innovation and industry cluster development, we would love to speak with you after. The team, Komal Anand and Logan Chadi, are at that table over there, and we'll be sitting there.